Hello. Previously, I did a tutorial showing how to set up a web server in Ubuntu 9.10. Since the release of that video, I've had some questions about how to do some things like if you wanted to get your server online, where do you edit files? So I decided to make a part 2 of the first video and just show you a few different things. Now, the first thing I want to discuss in the situation is permissions. Because one of the things when you set up your web server, the document root, which if I go into the Apache config, the document root is set to var www or www. So if I do a list long on var www, it's owned by the user root and the group roots. Now, the site will work if I, bring up Firefox here and I go to that website. You are going to get the basic page, which you should. You get the It Works, which is the default page that it comes up with. So if I do this, if I cd into var www and I try to edit that file, see how I get this changing a read-only file? It's owned by root. So I'd have to edit this file as root every time. Now, that's not, it could be done that way, but you really shouldn't do it that way. So what you'd want to do is we're going to edit the groups file. Now I will tell you there are other ways to do this. This is the way I do it. So if there is another way, post a comment and to let me know, or post a reply video. But in this www-data, you want to add yourself to that group, your user or users. Now, for that to take effect, to be part of that group, you'd have to restart. I'm not going to bother restarting the virtual machine for this. So what I like to do here is I like to do a change own, basically making that recursive between all the files and subfolders and files. And I want to change it to, now I'm going to change it to J Costanzo, for this tutorial, J Costanzo www-data, and then www. Oops, sorry guys, I forgot the sudo. Forgot Ubuntu like sudo. Now, the way you would most likely want to do this is sudo change own -r www-data www-data. And this would basically say the www-data user has basically owns this directory and the group. You would do this if you have multiple editors. If you have a single editor, then that particular users and that group is good enough. So now if I go into vim www index.htm insert, now I can insert and type what I want. So that right there is the way so you can actually edit files. It's the one thing when you install Apache and your web server, it doesn't tell you about that. So I thought I would just share that with you. Now, as far as getting your website out to the internet, so let's say you want to host this so people from the outside world can get to it. One of the first things you need to do is you need to check with your provider and find out if they allow port 80. Some internet providers will not allow you to use port 80 to host a web server. So if that is the case, what you need to do Let's say your provider does not allow it. In this virtual host here, if we edit this file and you change that to like 8080 or 81, whichever you prefer, you would then restart Apache and it would then go ahead and listen on that port. So the best way to test it would be is to test it with port 80. If it fails, then go ahead and try a different port. You could also do a search on your provider. I mean, doing a Google search like AT&T port 80 usually will come up with a lot of stuff. The next thing you're going to want to change is in this file is the server admin. Now the server admin is if someone needs to get it, like if they grep your IP address or your domain name, it basically will show. It'll also show up as the the admin email user. If you ever do like a central ops lookup on a domain name, it'll show server admin. That's that. The next thing you need to change the server name here. Now you could do this one of two ways. If you have your own domain name, your own registered domain name, you could put your domain name in here, and then you would go into your DNS entries and point the A record for the domain to your server's IP. How can you find out what your server IP is? You can just open up your web browser and go to whatismyip.com. I just won't go there, there's no reason to, but you can go there, it'll show your IP. Put that in there, restart your browser. Once you restart Apache. Once you restart Apache, you then have to go into your firewall. Now, that of course would be a whole tutorial. There's tons of tutorials on, because there's so many different routers, like a Linksys or a D-Link, or maybe your modem has it. So what I would do is look up for your router or your modems or your DSL or cable modems connection if it has a firewall to open up the ports. So that's basically it. I'm sorry if there wasn't too much information on opening it up, but it's really not that difficult. It's just opening up the proper port, whatever port your Apache is listening on, and making sure that your service allows it. If you have any questions, any comments, please rate this video and subscribe if you like my videos. Thank you.